It's Friendsgiving here on the More Love podcast, where best friends, big laughs, and heartfelt moments come together to celebrate the beauty of connection. I'm Scott. Erin and Rebecca freed me from my bubble to kick things off for today's special. Now, if you're new here, Erin and Rebecca are more than just podcast hosts. They're best friends. They're basically sisters who turn everyday life into comedy gold. And if you don't know their story, head over to the website. We've got a full timeline of their journey together. Check the link in the description and explore all the laughs, stories, and growth that makes this podcast what it is. Now, let me set the table for today's Friendsgiving Special. Here's what's on the menu. First, Erin and Rebecca relive their iconic IKEA adventure and discover some uniquely Canadian quirks, eh? Next, they reflect on major life changes, chaotic moving days, big career decisions, and yes, even celebrating milestones with a lunch trip to a strip club. Finally, they dive deep into the balance between empathy and judgment in friendships. It's funny, it's insightful. Trust me, it's the one you'll want to share. Grab your friends and settle in. Let's get started.
It's me, Erin. Thanks for joining us on the More Love podcast. Do not tell Rebecca, but this podcast is about empathy. She likes people to think she's dead inside, but the truth is she's a big-time feeler who has truly helped me uncover that empathy is my superpower. Oh, here she comes.
Hey, bestie.
Hi, love.
What are you doing?
Oh, just getting ready to host a podcast.
A podcast? About what?
Life. Our life as best friends who are more like sisters.
Yay! I love us, and I can't wait to share our stories with the world.
Especially the ones that involve us pushing each other, right? To be our most authentic selves.
Oh, man. Okay.
So what happened was she takes these vases.
I do think
vases, two of them with the bamboo in it.
Yeah, this was back. Now this is 2008 when this was like a big deal.
And she's moving these presents aside and holds it up and just looks at me like this, just glares at me with these. I said, "What the fuck is that?" What the fuck is that? She goes, "It's my bamboo." I said, "Why do you have bamboo stalks?" She said it was a gift.
My wedding gift.
I said, was there something else with it, or was like that?
That was it.
The gift. And she said, that's the gift. Mm-hmm. And I said, from where?
I think
the sticker on the bottom of it says IKEA.
But I never heard of IKEA, and you had.
Yes. I said, I've always wanted to go to IKEA,
right.
So let's bring that back.
Right.
And then you can turn that in and you can get yourself a dish or like a casserole.
I think we went on the AOL.
Yes.
And looked up.
Absolutely.
And looked up what IKEA was. And then that's when I realized we don't have international GPS. So I used my wedding money to buy the Garvin Nuvi.
Right.
Splurged
and to be fair,
for the international package.
The vases with the bamboo were what ultimately got us to go to IKEA for the first time. So we were really thankful for that. And our goal was we were just going to go in and we were going to say we're going to get the money for this on a gift card and then we're going to go
shopping.
And we're going to go shopping.
No, we're going to go on a shopping spree.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because IKEA is fancy.
Yes.
IKEA is fancy,
and but also a little bit like cheap because we had the conversion rate.
Oh, yeah. But we didn't know what IKEA
we were going to get more for our money.
Right. We thought IKEA was like this.
But what I needed to clarify there was that what Rebecca said. Erin was like, well, maybe we could turn those in and see what else is there. That is not what Erin said. Erin's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, right. So we get in the car. We go through the Tim Hortons. We get our cider with our butter. We discover Cockram Road. And then as soon as we are crossing the border...
We're waiting.
Right.
Please turn. We don't know what to do. We're too far in at this point. And then it showed up and we celebrated like it was 1989.
That's right. Then we decided every time we see a Canadian flag, we were going to say, "Oh, Canada!" Every time. And
every time we saw the Canadian flag.
So we're driving.
I think we even saluted.
I'm sure we did. I'm sure we saluted.
Oh, Canada!
And we had to do it no matter what.
Yes.
No matter what. And if somebody started with you just jump in.
That's because they saw the flag before you did.
Important.
Someone was in the middle of a story.
Didn't matter.
Boom. Oh,
Canada.
Yeah. That was it.
So I'm pretty sure we did it as we're driving through getting carded or whatever, when you go through
the customs.
And then they didn't like that.
No.
They didn't like that at all.
No.
I'm like, excuse me, sir, we have to do this.
No. No. They are not there for any of that.
Correct. So we're going through, the Garmin's working, thank freaking God, saluting, having a great time. We finally get to the destination.
Yeah.
We get there, we're so excited.
Can't wait.
Now I'm
Here I go.
nervous. Erin, Erin's not nervous about certain
No,
things.
I can't wait to turn this in.
Right.
Get my
So-
gift card.
We decide, right. We
Here I
decide,
am.
right. We pull in, huge Canada flag, singing it on the way in. Oh, Canada. Get in. And I say, what's the plan? She's like, just follow me. She goes up to the lady. Was it a lady or a man?
It was a man.
A man. Okay. Good up there. And she's like, we just got married. we just got married and we got this as a
We got
gift
this
and we
for
would
our
like
wedding.
to exchange this. Then what happens?
And it's okay if you just want to give us a gift card or
that's right.
whatever
That's
for this, but we just wanted to turn this in because we're going to get something else. She's like, oh, not a problem. She picks up the
Is it
bottom.
she now?
Him.
Okay,
He.
okay,
He.
okay, he.
He
Okay.
picks up the bottom, scans it. Picks up the other bottom, scans it. You gotta swallow.
I gotta
You gotta swallow before I say this next part.
Yeah.
I'm waiting at this moment.
I'm looking around.
be
I'm looking around because I'm in awe.
handed.
We're in a
Minimum we're getting back. Minimum.
$50.
$50.
Minimum. Oh, but we have
$50
two. We have two because this is a vase.
$50.
This is a vase.
Minimum $50. I'm there like a kid at an ice cream store.
We're so excited.
Cannot wait.
We are going on a spree.
Cannot wait.
Uh-oh.
Next thing you know, choom choom. That's the cash register opening.
$7.
He
Who's he?
he goes into the little coin drawer area.
No.
Picks something up and holds it out for me.
Right.
Now I put my hand out because I'm a little confused at this moment about what's happening.
Right.
And he puts $1 in my hand.
That's 25 cents. I'm
One
pretty sure it was a Canadian
quarter.
quarter.
And I'm looking at him. My hand is outreached. like
Waiting for
this.
the dollar bills. We're waiting. We thought we got the
I'm
change
looking
first.
at him. He's handing me the quarter. I'm confused about why this is the beginning and the end of this transaction. And he says, there's your refund.
It's 25 cents.
I said, sir, this is 25 cents. He said, that's correct. I believe usually they're 25 cents a piece. But right now they're buy one, get one. And because you don't have your receipt, I can only give you what they're worth right now. I look over at Rebecca and she has her legs crossed in pissing position.
Don't piss on my seat.
She is howling. She is.
I can't.
I'm holding this quarter up.
I can't.
And I'm like, what is this? Is he serious?
I can't.
This man's
he's
just smiling,
doing his job. And I turn to her and I see a Canadian flag. And all I say is, oh, Canada! I can't. We thought this thing was, we were shot a shopping spree.
I said, you want this or can I keep it? Can I keep this? You want it? Can I freaking keep this?
Oh
I
my
can't.
God.
Time to go home. We don't have any cash to spend. Oh my
Good thing I
God.
bought that Nuvi.
Like, not good thing you spent the extra on the Canadian map.
So someone gave you a 50-cent wedding present?
Correct.
I got to know who this is.
Correct.
We'll tell you after.
Correct. And you know what? And I'm so thankful that this person did. Because
we would
that
never have a
was
story.
one of the best stories.
That was such a great event. Not only that,
It
but
was
then we
so
decided
great.
to make it a trip. Like, it wasn't at the time we saw Ugly Betty.
Yeah.
That
was the time you
gave
stood in front of the tallest man
a
in the
blowjob.
world.
Yeah. Like, there was a lot. We went to the zoo.
Yeah. That was the time that we were in the
Hotel room.
And you said, if we're going to rent a movie, we really got to watch it. And I said, instead of what, make it out all night?
Right.
Like, what did you think we were going to do?
Right. And I think that was one of the first times we did a sleepover.
Yep.
And I talk so much.
Oh my
and you're
God,
like
Scott,
trying to hang.
I was
you're
like,
trying.
That was legit probably one of the first times we ever slept in the same room. And I got to a delirious point where she just would not stop talking. And then I don't know what happened next, but I just remember that she's like, so last night I was in the midst of talking to you about something and you fell right asleep.
That's why I said we have to watch it, because I knew if we weren't talking, there was a chance we'd fall asleep and then it'd be pissed that I would fall asleep. The money.
That's what you were worried about. You were wide awake. It was like you had just had a cappuccino or something 5 minutes before.
Because I don't sleep. Not only are you building a home, trying to close out your old home, move into this new home, but now you're bringing your parents in.
Yep.
So your parents are building this too, who live 2 hours away.
70 years old, relocating from the place that my father has lived his entire life.
Right. So now there's just significant things. And then couple that with building a home. Anybody who's built a home know it's not pleasurable. And then 2 years after, it's still not pleasurable. So couple all of that together. So you're managing that. Yes. And
my
your business is growing. Your child's experiencing some things that are showing up more rampantly than you're used to. You're trying to navigate that. There's just a lot of things. It's always this circle of chaos, yet you exude calmness and even kill.
Here.
Right.
Bring it on.
But it's not true.
Yeah. Well, or at least I've convinced myself, okay, well, grin and bear it.
Right.
Make it happen.
Right.
So I had written that down here, diagnoses. That's how I was referring sweet little Carter, right? Yeah. Like we were trying to be like, what the heck is going on here? This is so crazy.
Yeah.
But between family life, personal life, Carter, learning about different things that were going on for him, building this house, selling my other house, we ran into some real shit. 2 weeks before we were supposed to move in. That was the craziest. I cannot.
You moved in with me.
I moved in with you for 2 weeks.
You had to move in with me. And
at one point we thought that we were going to have to walk away from the house, have no place to live. My parents had literally sold my childhood home.
Right.
And talk about like weight, right? I'm like, okay, this is where we are.
We were looking into long-term rentals. We were doing all the things.
Long-term rentals during COVID, which you couldn't find. And if you did find, it was $4,000 for a 1-bedroom.
Right. And I live in a tiny ass home and I'm like, come in.
Yep.
Come in.
And so you remember this? Carter and I came to live with you. We slept together on the couch downstairs. Mark,
I don't even have a spare bedroom.
No. Mark took the cats. Went to Aunt Sherry's house.
Lived there for 2 weeks.
He and the cats lived there with Aunt Sherry for 2 weeks. They lived it up. It was like bachelor life between the two of them. And I'm single mom living on your couch with Carter, going back and forth between like daycare and this event and that event or whatever. It was.
And part of the reason you chose to live with me is because daycare was next door.
Yeah.
Your daycare was next door too.
That was number 400 on the
where
list.
I live. But you
number one was my dream.
Because I took care of you. I cooked for you every day.
Remember when you made me my mocha drink in the morning?
Sure
and
did.
I take a sip of it. I'm sitting on Bertha, Bertha. And I take a sip of it and I'm like, damn, you make the best mocha iced coffee. And you said, that's because I put hot fudge in it. And you take out this hot fudge. It's got like no joke, 4 gobbing scoops of hot fudge in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course that tastes great. That thing is 4,000 calories. But it's delicious.
Yeah, but you needed it because you were not in a good place.
I know. Move into the house. Right. That still had its own issues with it. Right. So are we hearing the buildup here of ridiculousness?
Yeah.
I then decide, because why not?
Right.
We're leaving higher.
Right.
We're leaving higher. I'm going to do my job.
Yep.
I'm going to do my job. My concern center job. I'm going to do that full time. It's growing. This is great. I'm going to bring Rebecca into that. Finally.
My favorite, but wait, I need to say, just because we have to. Every time you and I have a career change, we have a tradition.
Yes.
Every time. You want to tell them or me?
You.
So
where do we go?
back in the day, if you read our timeline on our website, it is quite funny. And someday maybe we'll talk about it. But back in the day when I originally decided to jump ship from higher education, we always joked about how we were going to go to the strip club. Always.
Just us
for lunch.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the strip club for lunch.
We're going to meet chicken wrap.
Right. At the strip club. And I don't know why. I think it's because it was the halfway point between both of our jobs. You worked at the one campus down the street. I worked at the other campus. I'm like, let's meet at the strip club. It was like a running joke. Well, the day I left higher ed,
which was like 10 years ago now.
Right.
Yeah.
God.
You said, meet you at the tally ho.
I'll meet you at the tally ho.
Okay, I'll meet you there.
So we drive to the tally ho. We get out of the car. We're all ready.
We're ready. We're going in.
We look at each other. I'm like, we can't do it.
I can't go in.
I can't do it.
I can't bring myself to go in. The minute that some boob flies at my face, I'm losing it.
I can't do it.
I can't do it.
So what did we do? We took a picture with the tally ho in the background.
We did a selfie with a tally ho in the background. And we're like, tally ho. And then we got in the car and we left. I think we went to Hobby Lobby.
Right. So that was my leaving higher ed. So of course.
So here it is. I leave higher ed, right? Which took me at least another 7 years after you left, right? Because we all know it takes me longer to agree to things.
So we meet at the tally ho.
Where did we go? Then here's my favorite part about that. We go to the tally ho.
I know.
And we're like, okay, ready? Are you ready to go in? It's lunchtime. Right. Okay, we got this, right? And then we get out of the car and we're like, still can't do it. Still can't do it, right?
So we take the picture.
Fine. Just get the selfie. So we take the picture. And then we both are like this.
We don't look so good.
What the hell happened to us? I think you said, compare it to the last one. Compare it to the one from like 10 years ago. So we take it out. We look at both of them. I'm like, what the hell happened to us?
We look like we got run
I'm like,
over.
Number one, this coat I'm wearing is burned because I look like an old woman. And I'm like, look at all the wrinkles on your face. You're like, this is not okay.
I know.
So I think, no joke, we took at least 27 pictures, at least selfies,
and
until we got one. And I'm like, you're like, lift the camera up higher. And then I'm like, get a filter on that, right? So like, it's not good.
So we'll put a picture up of 10 years ago and then
the recent one. Yeah. This was not good, but let's just say.
We still can't go and see the badge.
Yeah, now we really can't go.
Oh, no, not a chance. We're not taking any pictures.
No,
you can't leave your job.
We're not going in the tally ho now. We're the oldest biddies in there. And this time, we had a chance 10 years ago.
Well, we might be going back to the tally ho. So, what are you doing after this podcast?
Scott, meet us there.
Scott, bring your camera. This time we're going in.
Scott, we got some video footage for you. Can highly critical, discerning, and opinionated be held at the same place as empathy?
Well, yeah, because...
It's connected.
How?
Well, take the dad's dance for an example. Your empathy is, I really appreciate that you went out on a limb and wanted to do this for your kid. However, maybe pick something else because this was not good.
Yep.
That's totally fine, in my opinion.
Okay. And what about you, Scott? You think they're related?
Well, it could be just the autism part.
I mean,
could be the neurodivergent part because you can't not do those things. But you have an opinion of how things should be.
Yeah, always.
Mm-hmm. And that includes anything having to do with empathy.
True.
So it's kind of, you can't avoid it. You have to take all of it together.
But what I think is interesting is if I was highly critical, discerning, and opinionated on things, to just be highly opinionated, critical, and discerning, that feels different to me than the reason that I'm having an opinion on whatever it is because I so greatly want you to either be the best version of yourself.
Right.
Or I don't want you to make a fool out of yourself.
Ding, 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 ding.
Or
that's why I am opinionated. Because I'm like, ooh.
You don't feel the same way?
No, I do. I'm like, I have so much empathy for you that I don't want you to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I don't want you to come across as not the best version of yourself. Don't make that choice. But I can't, I'm not comfortable communicating that. Mm-hmm. So I'm rather just like, that ain't it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But but it's coming from a place of care and concern. The use of performance evaluations is the same. You hear me say all the time, I am going to be critical and opinionated and have an incredibly strong thought on what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how you can be better, because I think that's the kindest thing I possibly could be. I can't be over here pretending and letting you act a fool, or let you think that whatever work you're pulling is a 10.0 when it's a 6.0, because someone who's less kind in the future is going to bring that up to you or going to fire you. And I feel an innate sense of responsibility to bring that up. The example of Russ with the driving situation, in my mind, I wasn't thinking of that as being critical or like opinionated. I was thinking of that as, I see you. In the smallest little driving capacity, I see you. Right? But I don't think that that's how people typically view opinions, thoughts, criticisms, whatever. And to be fair, I don't always think that people are coming from the same place. So I don't know if this is an Erin thing, if this is a neurodivergent thing, if this is whatever, but I have been watching all of the reels that you send me on Instagram.
I know.
From the neurodivergent.
I can't help myself.
Which I absolutely love. And there is a very common theme there that we are not doing these things out of trying to be an asshole or at all. What we also get is you think you're better than everyone else. You think that you're, your way is the right way. And we may come across like that because when we do say things, it's often with conviction because we've given so much thought to it before it comes out of our mouth, right? That sense of confidence can often be misrepresented as arrogance. And can also be seen as the opposite of empathy. And I think that's at least very confusing to me because I think it's the kindest thing I can do for you is to share it.
The only thing I can think of right off the bat is, the golden rule. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So we're taught at a very young age to not criticize and to definitely not say it. So I think that, again, context, right? Like when you're telling little children these kinds of things, it's very confusing. It's very confusing because you teach this fundamental concept and then that's your baseline. So it's like, well, I can't be critical of that because in theory it's fine. It's just not fine for me, or it's not fine in this context, but it is fine. But I'm not going to say anything because.
Now, I have gotten better about not providing unsolicited advice if people aren't ready to hear that. So I am trying very hard to do a better job of saying, what is it that you would need from me in this moment? Are you interested in, do you want a hug? Do you want me to just listen? Do you want, because I think my natural go-to is to go to, I'm going to fix this for you and I'm going to let you know when I have the answer for you and here's the answer and I've served it up on a silver platter. But that has often led to me being incredibly disappointed and angry and sad, and because now you're still suffering even though I served this up on a silver platter for you. And then I'm over here just left confused, holding it because I'm like, I gave you the answer.
Told you what to do. And 9 times out of 10, the people don't want the answer. Because deep down they know the answer, but they don't want it. They want sympathy. They want commiserate. They want validation. They
or
want,
even if
and
they
that's
don't
hard.
Know. Yes,
that's hard for me and you, which is why I don't have a lot of close friends.
So you just don't engage.
No.
You don't engage, and then I have to constantly be asking how you want me to engage because I cannot sit in a space where you are struggling.
I know.
And then I step in to try and be helpful to you, and then you continue to do the same thing over and over again, and now want to keep coming back for what?
Commisery, validation,
right? And
all the
I
things
call that a helpless complainer.
Yeah,
for
especially
lack of a
when
better
you
term.
don't feel that way.
Right.
That's hard. That's really hard.
Or maybe you're not as far along in your journey or whatever. But my point of all of this being, I think it's so interesting when we think of, I remember with the Mystic Autistic that we had on, and I'm like, how can you be autistic and also mythical. Those two things don't make sense to me in the same place, right? Because the mythical part is, in my mind, absence of some logic and is letting the universe play its role. And autism, the autism to me that she was talking about is much more rule bound and truth seeking and specific, right? And she was saying, no, those two things aren't opposite for me.
I loved that.
Me too. Isn't empathy amazing?
Well, we're amazing. I don't know about all this empathy stuff.
That's fine. I accept you wherever you are.
Oh, God.
I love you.
I love you too.
And if you love us, please like and subscribe to More Love, the Power of Empathy podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
See you next time.